Well, yeah, what's up, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of Game Time, back for the 2024 NFL season. I am
my muscles. Oh, they tight. They tight.
When some Woody Harrelson stretches and white men can't jump, get ready. Here we go. Some James Harden. We are back at it, ladies and gentlemen. I am the Outlaw John Rocha, joined as always by Winston A. Marshall on this show. Winston, game one or week one of the NFL. Here we go, man. How you feeling?
I mean, look, my players got paid. Shouldn't have taken all summer, but that was clearly a ploy. We can talk about it. The nastiest man in all of football might be out of football. We're going to talk about it.
Wow.
The Chiefs are still out here not getting calls whenever they be doing stuff that ain't right. We're going to talk about it. And I'm out here thinking maybe Dion had the right idea losing a toe because, like, if that was the case, the Chiefs would be 0-1 again.
Yeah.
But, it's either here nor there, man.
I mean, if they'd gotten the 2-point conversion, that's a fair point. They might have been 0-1.
I mean, that was just a touchdown. Remember, that was just a
touchdown. Yeah, but the 2-point would have won the game.
Yeah.
If they'd gotten that, that's an excellent point for sure. We are going to be talking about that game. We're going to talk about so many of the big games from this past weekend for sure. Of course, we're going to cover all the games at some form, either big or small. We are going to cover all the games here on the channel, on the show, rather. We're also going to get into some WNBA news. We're definitely going to talk the Tyreek Hill situation and the Deshaun Watson situation, which put a big damper on week one. And we're also going to get into some, if there's extra time, we're going to get into some other stuff going on in the world of sports as well. I don't want to tease it just in case we don't get to it. So I just want to make sure that that's part of it. But of course, since we're on the Game Time channel, we still haven't crossed 1,000 subscribers, y'all. So with Streamlabs are the only ways you can send in support. You see it there above both our heads in the middle. And I'm about to pin it in the chat as well. But we're going to jump into things. And thanks to everybody who's joining us right off the bat for a fun conversation here when it comes to the world of sports, because we got so much to talk about. All right, let's get into it. Let's get into the 49ers game. This is the most recent game. We should get into this one first here, Winston A. The 49ers spoiled Aaron Rodgers' return back after that long layoff after getting injured last year on the fourth play of his Jets debut. They won this game. The 49ers did 32-19 behind fill-in back Jordan Mason, who ran for 147 yards and a touchdown. The Niners scored on 8 straight drives, which is, I think, something that has not happened to the New York Jets in like 45 years. This is the 23rd or 24th straight game where Aaron Rodgers has not thrown for over 300 yards. He only threw for 167 yards and a touchdown with an interception. And Deebo Samuel had himself a 2-yard touchdown run, and much to the Buffalo Bills fans' chagrin, Jake Moody made a franchise. Oh no, sorry. Was it there? I lost the name of the gentleman who was running in, who they drafted here. Got himself a touchdown.
Jordan Mason.
So I'm talking about something else. I'm talking about the Chiefs. Sorry about that. Jake Moody, the field goal kicker for the 49ers, made a franchise record tying 6 field goals to lead the 49ers to the win. Sorry about that. And Brock Purdy threw for 231 yards with no touchdowns and no turnovers. We'll get to the Chiefs in a second. A lot to talk about. Focusing on here on the 49ers and the Jets. Your thoughts on this? Where are the 49ers now in your mind, and where are the Jets with Aaron Rodgers after this game?
I mean, where they left off, I think the only thing about the 49ers that I was looking at that had me kind of laughing is I have been pulling for Brandon Ayuk all offseason to get paid, bro.
He got paid.
The way Peyton Manning roasted the hell out of this man for sitting out the whole time and then want to drop every single conceivable touchdown pass thrown to him. We had 5 targets, only brought in 2 for 28, but if he had done this properly, he would have actually had 2 touchdown passes. So 49ers faithful also the Niner getting pissed off that Brock Purdy's touchdowns got messed up because of Brandon Ayuk. So he's got to figure some stuff out, man. You can't be demanding all this money and then demanding trades. And then you saw the story, right? That apparently it was like, we're dead serious. You can go play with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. You can get the F up out of here. And he was like, wait, come on, man. Like, I'll take what you got. I'll take what you got. And Kyle Shanahan was like, bitch, you got till the end of the day.
Yeah.
And then he came running back talking about, I'm here. I swear I'm here. I'm not. We good, coach. We good. And then gonna mess up, bro.
Yeah.
Bro, he better get out there with Kendrick and start hitting them jug catches because that, woo.
Yeah, ain't nobody trying to go to the Pittsburgh Steelers to have Justin Fields or Russell Wilson throw you the ball, or to go to New England to have Drake May try to throw you the ball, or Jacoby Brissett. Not when you have a situation here with Brock Purdy and with this team with a potential to go back to the Super Bowl, which I think they pretty much announced their intentions with this victory over the Jets. You take that money and you sign that contract, you come back on the field. But let's play this real quick. I don't know if I can get away with this, but let's see if we can play this.
You got 7 seconds.
I got 7 seconds, and then I got to stop it. So let's see what Peyton says here. All right,
hold on. How long is it? You can see it right
55 now. 55 seconds. So I will stop it after 7, though, and then I'll restart it.
All you got to do is stop it and then jump to another point.
Sounds good.
I've learned from my editing. You gotta be real careful and dicey with it.
James. Oh. Whoa.
Can you guys hear that? Is it loud enough?
I can hear it. It's not super loud, but I can hear it.
What's going on with that? Okay, here we go. Let's jump to another thing.
He's a little rusty, Pate. He's missed all training camp.
Hey, get signed, get in training camp. There's a reason for training camp. You need it. The reps.
Oh.
Get those contracts done earlier so we can get in training camp. We don't drop balls on opening night.
Woo! Now that is a superstar quarterback very mad at a receiver for not getting the job done there, Winston.
Here's the thing. Where Peyton's jokes were actually like that's funny. At the same time, I kind of want to tell him to go F himself because you're one of the no real talk because you're one of the highest paid quarterbacks of all time. Understandably so, you deserve it.
Yeah,
I don't blame a single player out here fighting for their money.
No, of course not. You got to get your bag.
Not when as violent as the NFL is, not when these players will never have quarterback money. And then even the quarterback's the same thing. You don't know what could happen with either a freak injury or a team, moving on from you, or if, people finding out you a dirty McNasty and so your contract needs to be voided. Like it just, you never know what's going to happen. So I'm never going to fault a player for holding out for their money.
Yeah.
That being said, did you notice the difference between CeeDee Lamb and Brandon Ayuk? CeeDee Lamb came in with the gains.
Yeah.
Okay. CeeDee Lamb looked literally like I know Debo Samuel is nicknamed Debo after Friday. CeeDee looked like Debo. Like if you've seen the photos, he looked like Debo from Friday, and then played up to that standard. But also, mind you, I make the argument that CeeDee is the best receiver in the league. If he's not, he's at least top 3 between like him, Jefferson, and you can argue. I would probably say Hill over Chase, but to be honest with you, it just depends on the day.
Yeah.
But like that's the difference. I didn't think Ayuk deserved CeeDee, just Jefferson, Hill, Amon-Ra St. Brown money. I think he deserved like that 11 through 20 receiver money. I don't think he's top 10. I think he's like 11 through 20.
Right. Okay.
And I even think he has the third, like he's very good, but I also think he has the third best hands out of the people on that team. It goes Debo, CMC, and then him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No,
but that doesn't mean that he's not fantastic. Right. And that doesn't mean he didn't deserve to get paid. If you're going to do that, you have to then turn around and just be like, no, I was doing what I needed to do. I'm just not working for free. What I'm saying? That's it.
Yeah, of course. You got to get the money. And look, he wanted to push it out as far as he could push it out to see if he could get the situation that he needed for himself. He tried it out, right? But at the end of the day, the 49ers were gracious enough to be like, you know what? We're going to still offer the same contract. You're going to come back and sign it or not? This is the thing. They could have dropped it. Who was I? Oh, I was watching the recent 30 for 30 that they did on the Ravens, right? And Siragusa was talking about how when he was a free agent, he went to Al Davis, and Al Davis made him a certain offer because he was going to go play for the Raiders possibly. And then he said, Siragusa said, give me a night. Let me sleep on the offer, and I'll come back tomorrow. He came back the next day, and Al Davis said, hey, you know what? We looked at the market again. We're going to offer you $10,000 less. And Siragusa says, well, what about the contract from yesterday? He goes, yesterday was yesterday. Today is today.
That's how price ain't today's price, baby.
Exactly. So I think the 49ers were very kind to offer Ayuk the same contract back, and Ayuk was very smart to sign it. Look, this is an opening thing. Sure, he dropped the ball, but he's going to be effective for this team down the road. So, he'll pick it back up again. And the pressure is there now. Yeah.
It's from the standpoint of like the same thing happened with, the orange fuck Muppets favorite player, Nick
Oh,
Bosa,
yes.
where he held out as long as he did, and he was not nearly as effective because
Right.
again, the point of training camp is to get you in the proper football shape to
Yeah.
train you, if you
Yeah.
will, for the hardships and the you know, like struggle that's going to come from playing this sport at the highest level.
Yeah.
And so it's going to now he's going to have to learn on the fly to get back to where he was. So don't be surprised if the first few games he's kind of boo-boo trash, but he will eventually get back to the person that he was, because I believe he was all pro last year.
Yeah.
And that's certainly a thing that's going to happen. Now, it's a couple things. First of all, I see Sean talking about you had to throw in a Cowboys player. Please remind me what other receiver was holding out on a contract all off season that made a good comparison. It's just a literal perfect metaphor. I know you just josh him, but like also you Chiefs fans, man, I swear to God.
We'll get to that game. Don't worry.
We'll get to it. Yeah. But the other thing, it's kind of silly for people to say, well, we're immediately going back to the Super Bowl with the Niners and the Chiefs. I don't think that is as much of a given, especially seeing what we saw from a lot of these teams. Yeah. Let's be honest. The Jets were a terrible team last year. I kind of said this where I was like, if Aaron Rodgers magically went back in time, then and became the Rodgers that was winning MVPs left and right, it would be one thing where I'd be like, wow, what's going on? But like, remember, he was kind of bad when he left Green Bay. He was not who he was. Yeah, he's coming off an Achilles injury. They refused to pay Hassan Reddick, which is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. You knew he demanded more money when he was in Philly. That's why he left. That's why he was on the trading block. So even that was nonsense. Of course they were going to be bad. No, Jamar Chase does not count. I mean, yes, I guess he played. He played, but one, Joe Burrow was bad, and two, I know I just did a full ADHD twist to this comment. One, Joe Burrow was bad, and two, he still hasn't been paid. So I guarantee you, on top of that, he probably was just out here in these streets being like, like I'll be here. I don't know how much I'm gonna give you right now. You get no working for free. Exactly. But the Jets, despite what Jets fans want, show me where you've actually improved. Show me a situation where you actually see the team moving forward, because you don't want to pay the superstar that you got. And Aaron Rodgers is ancient with a cyborg Achilles. What are we talking about? Yeah,
and the thing is, this is the frustrating part when you're watching them try to pump up the Jets because of Aaron Rodgers. This guy, he's over the hill already, way over the hill, and his body isn't responding the way it should. And this is the thing over the last few years, as I mentioned, like 23 games in a row, 24 games in a row, he can't get over 300 yards passing, but we're supposed to still consider him elite. This is the madness of it all. You're living on past it's like watching a Bruce Willis film that straight to DVD and thinking he's still Die Hard level. That ain't him anymore. That ain't Bruce anymore. That's an old Bruce. And I mean before the diagnosis, of course, but like this is before, eventually the great ones run out and you're just living on fumes of what they did in the past. This is Aaron Rodgers now. And he kept looking around befuddled about what was happening. So, and don't get it twisted that they got 19 points on this vaunted 49ers defense. They were taking their foot off the gas there towards the end when they knew they had the game in hand, and Rodgers was doing his thing to get a garbage touchdown with Alan Lazard again, who got 2 touchdowns in the game. So to me, there's a lot. The problem is the defense. I mean, the fact that the 49ers, without Christian McCaffrey, were able to score on 8 straight drives, and don't give me 6 field goals, they still got down there. And that's what I would be worried about if I'm Robert Saleh, a noted and heralded defensive head coach. Now seeing his defense play like this, it's just bad, man.
I mean, I think the two things that bother me about this whole situation are both I don't think we've been putting enough respect on Jordan Mason's name. This is his 3rd year in the league, and I think a lot of the reason why is CMC has been here this whole time, so we don't know.
Right.
But like I knew there was enough to go look at him, like old college tape. There was enough to see him in various scenarios where he actually is a fantastic running back. Yeah. So I'm not like, nobody should have been that surprised by what was going on, especially when you're a Trent Williams led offensive line helping you rush the ball. Like, what are we talking about here? Right. Like, Is he going to be CMC as far as having all of said intangibles? No, but if CMC is a 10, this kid is at least an 8.5. So I'm not surprised by that. But then the second thing that I would say, this is where I need the Niners to genuinely face the music, and they need to get fined heavily. Yeah. Because I'm sure you saw he was asked the question, when were you going to start? And when did you find out? And he said, well, I found out on Friday, and I've been working really hard. And everybody's like, huh? And so then he got asked again at the press conference, and this poor kid was like clearly trying to fight back tears. It was his first start, 147 yards on the ground with a touchdown, caught 5 in the air as well, just to add on. Like, this should be a day that he should just be celebrated. Right. And because the Niners tried some bullshit, he now looks like the bad guy, which is nonsense. The Niners need to pay for that. There are rules for the injury report and saying things at that particular clip. So, and don't be like, just lie, dog. Just lie. The only other thing I could tell him to do is, you're a running back. You looked, especially with your dreads, you looked like Marshawn out there. Go call beast mode and get some tips on talking about, I'm just here so I won't get fined. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's why you put it on a kid who hasn't, played that much. And in the third season, like, those things you have to take a look at. I'm sure eventually the NFL will take a look at this and see, and maybe make a little comment like, hey guys, shut the fuck up next time, or keep it down, or whatever. So we'll see. But because it looks like he's not gonna be relinquishing this job anytime soon, because Christian McCaffrey was diagnosed now with Achilles tendonitis, which can last for weeks and sometimes a couple of months. So it's going to be sporadic to see how Christian comes back, when he's going to play, when he's not going to play. But the 49ers must feel happy about the situation. By the way, this is, I think, the 9th or 10th undrafted running back that has gotten over 100 yards rushing under Kyle Shanahan since he took over the 49ers. That is a hell of a stat to have. That for him, running backs are kind of interchangeable. So if I was McCaffrey, I might be like, hey, man, what do we got to do to get me back on the field? I'm willing to do it, whatever it is, because clearly they need me, but they don't need me. So this is going to be interesting to see how this plays out over the next few weeks. But at least the 49ers are comfortable. They've got a third-year player who can step in when needed to, against what was supposedly a tough Jets defense. So we will see going forward in the future. But yeah, I think the 49ers pretty much announced themselves for sure. All right, let's move on to this Chiefs game here. Let's do this thing, Winston. The Chiefs held off the Ravens 27-20 when a review overturned what looked like a touchdown for Isaiah Likely on the final play of the NFL's season opener. I know we're going back a few days, but we'll have this conversation. This was an interesting game. Patrick Mahomes threw for 291 yards with a touchdown pass to Xavier Worthy. That's the gentleman I was talking about that was drafted by the Chiefs when they got that pick from the Bills, who also scored a rushing touchdown in his NFL debut. Lamar Jackson threw for 273 yards and a touchdown, added 122 yards on the ground, blew away the next top rusher for his team, which was Derrick Henry making his debut as a Raven here. But in the end, he overthrew 2 wide open receivers and almost overthrew Isaiah Likely on that final throw. And in the end, that was the difference there, that toe being on the line in a pretty hard-fought game between the Ravens and the Chiefs, full of mistakes as a first opening day game of the season, but still, in the end, Chiefs got the job done. And just like the 49ers, which I didn't mention, they showed a lot of new wrinkles the 49ers did in that game against the Jets with their offense. The Chiefs showed a lot of new wrinkles as well in this game against the Ravens, and in the end, got the job done. So what are your thoughts coming out of this game? Are the Ravens always going to be the bridesmaid? Do you think Lamar is still not the answer here overall to get them over the mountaintop because of making these critical mistakes? Or is this more like the Chiefs got away with another one, not getting called at all for any of the offensive lineman issues, and having an assistant coach be able to call a timeout for the first time and they just let them have it? Hey, man, you didn't know about it. I mean, you are, the reigning champs that knew the rules about overtime. So we're just going to let this assistant coach call it a timeout slide. That's the only thing that I honestly had beef with the Chiefs about. That's bullshit.
I agree.
Fuck the warning. That's Andy Reid. Andy Reid knows that. Yeah. That is the only call. I am genuinely going to say that is complete and utter bullshit. And especially knowing the running joke was that the Niners didn't know in the biggest game of the year that OT in the Super Bowl means that your boys get to essentially get a shot no matter what you do. That is nonsense. That is absolute nonsense. And I'm mad about that timeout. but that's not going to change the course of this game. There's a couple things that I saw here. The first is I kept noticing that part of the reason why Lamar was like so bad as like a passer, like, yes, the numbers show that he did decently well,
sure,
but like missing these open throws. I don't know if it's the Chiefs D-line was that good, the Ravens O-line was that bad, or if Lamar was just hearing ghosts from the AFC Championship game, because he looked like a nervous wreck most of the time. And now, mind you, him using his feet to get around and do what he needs to do is what he's always done. But what made him become the MVP last year is that he did it when he needed to, more a la Russell Wilson at his peak.
Right.
But stayed in that pocket and was delivering just darts. Yeah. And so this looked kind of weird where I was like, bro, on top of the fact that you got Derrick Henry now, and they did talk about how Henry is used to running out of the eye. Lamar is used to working out of like shotgun, so that they have to make adjustments to that. Yeah. You upgraded. You honestly upgraded with a behemoth of a back there. So there's like, if you need to bring Derrick in to help you take a couple extra chip blocks, man, they have got to fix that. And on top of that, the other players need to step up. I have Zay Flowers, so I noticed this. Zay was about to bust a touchdown all up in the Chiefs' ass because he was hiding behind, which was totally illegal. He was hiding behind Nelson Aguilar, or it may have been the tight end, and then he got the screen pass. If Nelson had done his job and blocked the one defender over there, Zay's fast enough to burn the whole field. It was only about 30, 40 yards. That's an easy touchdown. Yeah. And those are the mistakes that the Ravens have to figure out how to solve. Yeah, because you can't just bank off of Lamar driving down the field and bailing you out in the last second, because clearly it didn't happen.
No.
Oh, you got to do it earlier, man.
They got to find that middle ground, man. They can't seem to find that middle ground where Lamar isn't throwing as much isn't running as much and is throwing more. And that's why they brought in Derrick Henry. You don't bring in Derrick Henry and not feed him the ball. You feed him the ball 13 times for 46 yards. That's terrible. 3.5 yards average, got a touchdown, but like you need to be feeding him so much more. I mean, Lamar almost has 80 extra yards, like 122 yards on 16 carries. Why is Lamar carrying the ball 16 times? Is it really the O-line, or is it his desire to want to do it himself? And that's the thing. And Harbaugh loves Lamar. And I think Harbaugh lets Lamar get away with some stuff that he shouldn't still be letting him get away with just because he wins games. But this thing is, he doesn't win Super Bowls. And that's the thing. Yes, you're getting the games, you're getting in the playoffs. But then when shit gets tight, you don't have a running game you can rely on. You don't have another avenue if they shut down Lamar Jackson, as we saw against the Chiefs last year in the championship game. And that's the thing when you look at it. And they brought in Derrick Henry to supposedly solve those issues. But he wasn't being given the ball consistently enough, or over 20 times.
Carries, man.
Yeah, 13 carries. That's not enough for a star running back. That's what you give the guy you picked up off the practice squad. It's not what you give Derrick Henry. So it was confusing to me. That being said, though, they still had a chance to win this game. And Lamar Jackson did what he did in these critical moments. We've seen him do it numerous times. People are still apologizing for Lamar 8 years into the league or 7 years in the league. I just don't understand, man. He had a missed throw. You could argue that's a miscommunication, and then a throw that was inaccurate that Isaiah had to catch way at the top of his jump. And that's what affected how he came down with his foot. If that ball was more in his wheelhouse to catch, he'd have had more control of his body to get both of his feet inbounds behind the line, and he didn't.
I mean, the funny thing that we talk about, or you'll see a lot of the announcers talk about when they run little replays and show you kind of how, like, they'll be like, oh my God, how did Patrick get that to Travis? That was crazy. And it's because Travis does this thing like you're playing backyard football, where like they showed the one catch he had where he said, you've seen Next Friday, right, Rocha? Yeah, you remember when Day Day is running away from Baby D and he's doing the zigzag, whatever, to like shake her off? That's literally what Travis did, and then got open and caught the ball. And you watch Zay do the same thing in the end zone. But instead of Lamar seeing that, and maybe it's because he was panicked in his head, or maybe it was because he was tired, because up to that point you were already doing everything yourself, he threw it behind him. Yeah. He's lucky that wasn't an interception for doing that. Yeah. You see your receiver got open for you, so you need to like catch his eye or see his trajectory and make the adjustment. So like here. Yeah. So jump ahead just to, yeah. He got open for you.
I mean, look,
and
he
threw it behind him.
That is not a missed. That is not a
go back just a few ticks so we can see about when he's making the decision to throw it. Right. Just so we can see what's going on here.
He's looking.
Lamar is right
there. He's throwing. So
sorry, where is he? Show. Can you put the mouse on him?
I'm right here. There's Lamar.
Yeah.
You see that? Yeah.
So he's already put his hand up. He's like, I got it. You see what I'm saying? So what are you doing?
Zaya's wide open right there.
And you were both at training camp. You know how fast he is. You know he's not going to stay in that spot. Like he literally was like, bro, let's go. He didn't plant. He's running.
I know. He's got there's nobody within 5 to 10 yards of him. You could have just lobbed that up there and he'd have caught it. I mean, talk about stop the hate. Stop making, for God's sakes. It's so mind-blowing.
Stop the hate.
And then let's take a look at this one. All right. Let's take a look at this one. Here he is, right? This is the throw. This is not, people kept trying to say that this was this was a purposeful throwaway. Bullshit. He is right there. He is open for coverage. He is open. He has 2 yards of distance. And Lamar
go back again though, because I'll make the argument. But go ahead. I see Lamar. I'm tracking him. Okay. So as you're doing that,
the guy in the back.
So I think what's happening is you see his progression. He's looking to the right.
Yes.
He doesn't see likely yet. He kind of feels the pressure coming, so he steps up. He sees he sees the lineman in front of him, so he doesn't necessarily see that Noah is open yet. So I agree. I can see him saying that's a throwaway because he just sees the lineman in his face and he doesn't see that Noah is actually ready to catch that ball. So it's just you see what I'm saying?
I can't agree with you.
Look directly in front of him.
Look, he's got one guy with his hands wide open going, I'm wide open.
But that's a dart you got to remember. He has to be able to see around what is going on in front of him. We're looking at it from a bird's eye view. We're not in his purview. So he can't necessarily see that directly around this guy. And now he just sees this lineman in front of him. You see what I'm saying? That one, I'll give him a little bit more of a pass. But that Zay Flowers one, I can't do. I can't do that. That is the most basic. We are on the same page. I know how you run your route. I see you're open, bro. I know how fast you are. I'll get it to you. That was unacceptable. This one, it wasn't great, but
I can't give it to. I can't because, dude, after 7 years, and look, Mahomes is smaller than Lamar, and Mahomes will make this throw.
But that's also because if the thing you want to say then at that point is that Mahomes, two things. One, Mahomes would make a slight adjustment if he can't really see around that lineman. You'll see him take a slight step to the left and look for it. But then on top of that, you got to remember that Chiefs D-line is terrifying.
Yeah,
and I'm telling you, at this point, this man is he's hearing footsteps.
Oh, totally.
because his normal instinct, remember, is to go, they're coming, I'm gonna take off.
Yes.
Not that Mahomes won't do that either, but Lamar really does that. There's a reason why he's already, I think, third for rushing touchdown or rushing QB yards already in the league, ever. It's because that is his instinct to kind of do that. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if this is first game rust. I don't know what it is, man. I don't know if the O-line had failed him so much already that now he was shook. But
I just don't understand the logic of the pass, right? And this is what I'm getting at. Because look, where he throws it, it is at the corner of the end zone and high above his hand. I think it's likely as well. High above. And he gets likely injured here too as well. He went out for a play. Why not toss it into this area right here? Give the receiver a chance to lay out, toss it, take a little bit of juice off of it, toss it into that area, and let's see what Isaiah can do. Isaiah had a monster game, so why not give your receiver a chance? Why put it in the most toughest area for him to catch the ball? The logic here just doesn't make sense when you're looking at it as a quarterback.
It also just looked like even if he saw it, honestly, Rocha, what that looks like more than anything is a bad pass.
That's what I'm saying.
But no. But you said bad decision making. I'm saying it just
decision making, bad pass.
But one is an accuracy thing, and one is I'm not making a good choice. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like that was an inaccurate throw.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
But the last thing I'll say, the real losers here, and the only reason I will actually say there is a high probability that the Chiefs at least make the Super Bowl if they don't actually become the first NFL team to three-peat in the Super Bowl era.
Yeah.
The biggest losers are the rest of us fans that aren't Chiefs fans, and mainly the Buffalo Bills. The Bills Mafia did this. You allowed the fucking Chiefs to get Tyreek Hill 2.0 and get Xavier Worthy, who has been touted at Texas, and ended up with a 4.21, the fastest time in the combine. So arguably the fastest man in the NFL. Yeah. And you allowed him to get him in, and on his very first touch, this motherfucker scores a touchdown. Yeah. And then within 2 other catches, he scores another touchdown. I hate you, Bills. I hate you with all my heart. I was feeling bad for the Bills Mafia. I wanted y'all to finally get a little taste of the gold. You did this to all of us, not just to you. You did this to all of us, and I hate you.
Fair point. Look at this throw here. This is the throw for the touchdown. Now, I get Lamar's pulled back because he was going to run. He pulled the ball down. He was going to run. Then he sees the Chiefs lineman, so he reverts, turns around, looks for receivers, comes back to the line, then sees that, Isaiah is standing there. There's nobody within 10 yards of Isaiah, and he still cannons the ball to Isaiah, so much so he has to do full extension, and that's what ends up letting the defenders catch up to him. If he throws a more accurate pass that is in the breadbasket, he doesn't even have to turn around to catch
my only guess with that, and that again is because you were doing the most, man.
Yeah.
My only guess is after you did that scramble, like, your adrenaline's going crazy. You're like, oh, he's open. He put everything into that. Whereas that would be a moment that a Patrick Mahomes, a Tom Brady, an Aaron Rodgers,
a pocket passer.
Yeah. Well, but fine. Take Brady out of it. I'm going back to Aaron Rodgers. I'll give you Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
More mobile quarterback, because Brady ain't doing all that. Brady ain't going, oh shit. Like he's not doing that. So the three of them, the only thing I can think at that point is your adrenaline's going. You almost got sacked there, and you see it, but you also can see the defender coming. So you panic and you throw it as hard as you can to get it there before the defender gets there, because that's what that pass looked like. It looked like I have to get this there as fast as possible. But again, when you do things like that, your shit's gonna be less accurate because you're putting all your power into it and not necessarily touch. So like, again, I don't know if this is because the line wasn't protecting him enough, so he wasn't able to remain calm. He got sacked one time. I'm trying to see how many other times he had to like kind of scramble or drop back.
Yeah,
I mean, he rushed it. Where is it here? He rushed it 16 times. And I put dollars to donuts that a large number of them, I don't remember the game that distinctly now without looking at highlights. Most of those were because he had to, not because it was a design play of
the line was breaking down. Yeah. But he was only sacked once for 6 yards, and you're right, he ran 16 times. So, and the longest one was 16 yards. So yeah, absolutely, clearly, probably felt he had to. He averaged about 8 yards on each run, but 7.5. So yeah.
But the last thing that we need to say, like, let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater here, bro. Like the Ravens, this is week 1.
Yeah, you're right.
As we know that they lost their O-line coach died, so they're out a new O-line coach. Yes. You have a bunch of new players on said O-line, and you almost beat the Chiefs. The Chiefs almost shit the bed again week 1. So like, let's be clear. The Chiefs look very formidable. If I had to pick though between the Chiefs and the Niners, I'm giving the edge realistically to the Chiefs, because I genuinely think that the Ravens are a bigger threat and they handled them and held out on somebody surging back on them. Whereas I don't think the Jets are a threat. I think we will see if they develop into one, but this is Rodgers' first full game since, last time it was run out with the flag, 4 plays dead. Like he at least made it through the game. I just think that the Chiefs right now are already deadlier than the Niners as far as this goes.
I think it's a toss-up. I think both the teams, because I mean, like, if you can put your backup running back in there and he can get 124 yards, then like, and a couple of touchdowns.
What's more impressive? What's more impressive? A third-year running back who's been learning behind CMC and has already had a lot of this ability, or a rookie who on his first 3 touches scores 2 touchdowns, which has not been done since the 60s, Rocha.
Yeah, 1960. It was Jim Brown, for God's sake. That's how far you had to go back. And it was against my Redskins back in that time. So,
and on top of that, I'm going to take all day. Like, because now Rashee Rice ass apparently ain't going to jail until at least next year. So you got that. You got Xavier Worthy. doing what he had to do. Pacheco looked dangerous. Kelsey's still out here doing what he needs to do. So what would you rather take? Would you rather take that roster on offense and that defense and Patrick Mahomes?
I know, no, you're right.
Or Deebo Samuel, Kittle, Ayuk, who can't catch none right now, CMC, who constantly is injured. Like when he's good, he's great. But you got a good backup in Mason doing what he has to do, and Brock Purdy. You want Brock Purdy, you want Mahomes, man. You want Andy Reid, you want Kyle Shanahan. Like, I don't think this is really a contest in my mind.
No, I 100% think the Chiefs are going to three-peat, or they're going to be in the Super Bowl 2 3-peat. I don't have anybody in the AFC challenging the Chiefs. I don't see anybody being able to do that. This is just like the Patriots when they went 18-0 going in against the Giants. It feels that way. It feels inevitable because Patrick was already practicing like the night of after they won the Super Bowl. Like he told Brittany to go chill out with Taylor, and he went off to the game room already to prepare for next year. He has that kind of mentality. That's Patrick Mahomes. And people, I've come around on him big time. Like this guy is just a winner. He doesn't radiate it. He doesn't come off talking all that shit. He's really nerdy.
And you don't watch a lot of his tape, do you? You don't watch a lot of his tape because there was something the Chiefs put out right before the start. They were like, when he starts doing this, it's over for you. Because what that means is they're like, they even say about the like, oh, you see Patrick's doing this, it's over. He about to score. Because what that is he's in the zone and he's like, give me the plays faster, give it to me faster, give it to me faster. I'm going. I don't stop it. Like, and so they like his line was talking about it. Then they did like a talking head to Andy and to Travis. Be like, oh yeah, if Patrick does this, he's saying, hurry up with the play calling. I'm gonna go get this, and that's what he does.
Maybe he's on the terrifying. Maybe he's on the spectrum.
He might be,
but he can also play. Like the fact that he can combine them both.
What do you mean?
That is
also,
scary.
People on the spectrum do crazy shit, bro. Like I'll tell you, the only downside to him on the spectrum is he chose Brittany Mahomes as
well, that was early in life.
But I mean, it's probably also why he's been able to shut out Brittany. Of the overall Taylor drama where he just like he's cool with Taylor, that his brother doesn't bother him, his daddy's DUIs don't bother him because he's just like, I got shit to do. Like I just, man, the only thing I will say, the only L that the Chiefs lost, why Travis Kelce look like a dude now that turns his body cam off when he was trying to arrest Tyreek Hill.
Let's take a look at this because this is a big L. This is not. What the fuck is going on here? Someone said it looked like the dipshit henchman in a Jason Statham movie.
Dude, they look like oh god, what was that movie? Bullet Train. They look like Brian Tyree Henry and the other dude trying to go get the money. I'm trying to tell you, but it's not just that. When he takes that hat, that's why he put the hat on, because people were talking about that ugly ass bull hair. Right. He genuinely looks like a goddamn sheriff. I'm a sheriff. Like that's what he looks like, and he looks like he was there harassing Tyreek Hill. What he genuinely does.
Someone said they were Bebop and Rocksteady before they get like
that. No, but Bebop and Rocksteady apparently whoops everybody's ass, bro. So I don't know what to do. Like, what do you do? Like, all you can do is you can kind of clown them for how they dress, but you can't do anything else. They're unstoppable.
Well, because they're so good, they can dress like that. I think that's the thing at the end of the day. But I do want to put this up on the team because this is what I saw. I don't know if I can actually, maybe if I can, because this is what I saw when I saw that hat. And I know Sean Brennan's going to get upset, but this is what that hat reminded me of. Remember Hot Dog on a Stick? This is what the outfit reminded. That hat is absolutely Hot Dog on a Stick hat, for God's sakes. This is what that hat is. That Travis Kelce hat is Hot Dog on a Stick.
I'll be honest with you. I don't hate the fit if he doesn't have that damn mustache, bro. And I know he's not hiding that hair. I actually don't mind the fit. It's because I know what is inside the fit that bothers me. That's the problem. If he still had his buzz cut Riz, had the beard going with that, I would have been like, yo, that's fly, bro. But like that, nah, man, that looks like if Super Troopers went to a day at the races. That's what that looks like, bro. It looks like Reno 911 decided that they were gonna go see Magic Mike one day. Like that's what that looks like.
Oh man, I wish I could. Wait, we have to go through these. I'm sorry, Winston. We have to go through these. I apologize. What is going on here? Oh, yeah.
Bro. Oh, my God.
Oh, comparing him to, oh, no.
I think what bothers me right now is because like I really have become like I'm not like a diehard like of like her music fan of Taylor, but like her as a person, I've become a big fan of Taylor at this point.
Okay.
I am starting to judge her a little bit because the one thing that the Swifties have informed me on is that a lot of the men that she has dated in the past have been kind of rough. Like she really likes them as people, but they've been kind of rough. So now I'm concerned because he went from having hella riz with the beard and the shave. Now that he's got this haircut and this mustache, she let him go out there like that. I'm like, did she convince him to do this? And if that's the case, I'm now concerned. I'm like, girl, what is your taste like? Like, what is going on as far as just as men? She has great taste in everything else. But like, as far as like the menu, now I'm concerned. I'm genuinely concerned. Like, you love their personalities, and that's wonderful.
Yeah.
But why are they dressing like this? What is this haircut?
I like Sean. He says, Travis looks like the guy who asked you if you read the email he sent you by Hillary Clinton. Yeah, absolutely. He does look like this. This is no lie. But look, this is not the place to say this, but I truly believe Taylor is like tofu. She is colorless and tasteless. She takes on the flavor of whatever you cook her with. And so that she takes on the guys. She takes on the flavor of the guys that she goes and, and does things. So there it is. And Travis looks like a completely different person. And it's interesting. So I'm just going to say,
I can't. I'm leaving it at that. The words coming out of Rocha's mouth do not reflect that of Game Time. They reflect nothing but John Rocha, the outlaw himself. That is it. The management. I'm not going to do all that. What I will say though, you know what I think happened? It actually looks like Taylor and Travis have done a Freaky Friday because Taylor she looking thick. She got a little booty now. She does. Outfit she's wearing and whatnot. I'm kind of like, okay, white girl, you know how they have the black girlfriend or the black wife effect they be talking about, black and like all that. It literally looks like he did the black boyfriend effect, or at least style wise, to Taylor, and she did the white girlfriend effect to him, and they just did a full flip flop of like swag because she got some swag now. And I don't know what the fuck's going on with him.
Yeah, it's a good point. Yeah. She's doing just fine. Yeah, you don't need to worry about that, but you got to ask yourself what's going on with Kelsey. But maybe this is both
Kelseys. Why Jason show up, not have his damn suit, and had to go run to JC Penney and just get a button-up shirt to put on there right before his goddamn first broadcast? I'm so mad at Jason Kelsey for that shit.
Look, a lot of former players, messed up their broadcast this weekend. All right, anyway, let's go. Let's move on to our next thing, man. We are rolling through these, but they are taking a bit of time. Let's move on. Let's move on to let's move on. We got to do this. I know we've been having fun, but we got to deal with some serious stuff now. Let's deal with this Dolphins Jaguars game. First, the game here. Jason Sanders made a 52-yard field goal as time expired, and the Dolphins rallied past the Jaguars here 2017 on Sunday. Tua threw for 336 yards and a touchdown and led Miami on an 8-play, 31-yard drive over the final 2 minutes and 9 seconds to seal the game here. Tyreek Hill, who, of course, started the day being arrested right outside the stadium, had an 80-yard touchdown catch that was a beauty from Tua after beating two defenders there. And Trevor Lawrence finished, he also signed a big contract extension. He finished 12 of 21 for 162 yards and a touchdown, with Tank Bigsby rushing for 73 yards on 12 carries. And Travis Etienne had himself a touchdown, a 1-yard touchdown, but also fumbled the ball that led to Tyreek's 80-yard touchdown reception. And Jalen Waddle for the Dolphins had himself 109 yards catch, including a 63-yard catch himself. So thoughts on the game real quick, and then we're going to get into the Tyreek Hill situation here. Winston, what are your thoughts on the Dolphins and the Jags?
First of all, how are you going to have these kind of numbers and it takes you making a comeback on the Jaguars? That's, I know, it's weird. Wild to me. Yeah. And if anything, that puts actually zero faith in me for Miami. And it's only week 1, so things can obviously shift. Again, we got to remember people are getting back into the groove. Sure. It is what it is.
People don't play in preseason. Yeah.
But that concerns me. Like the Jaguars kind of proved in this first week that they weren't ready.
Yeah.
And it was this close.
Yeah, I know.
That's really weird to me.
Right.
So I think that the Dolphins need to understand that they're put on notice, bro, because between the Bills and the Patriots actually looking decent, like you're gonna have to scrap for this. Yeah. So I hope you got your jitters out, and it is what it is. And then I honestly think that the Jacksonville Jaguars have zero chance of winning their division because the Colts and the Texans look fantastic. Right. So like that was a knockout drag out week 1 between the Texans and the Colts. So if the Jaguars don't instantly start to look a little bit better, they may not make the playoffs. It's really early to make that assessment. But when two teams in your division look that good, you cannot look that bad.
Yeah, you got to start asking questions of Trevor Lawrence. You really do. I think Doug's a damn good coach. Doug Peterson's a damn good coach. Won a Super Bowl with the Eagles, and he is doing all he can to get this kid's mind right and to get him to play well. They had a 17-3 lead at halftime or something like that, and they blew the game. You know what I'm saying? And that's the situation because Trevor didn't score any points.
17-7.
17-7. Either way, you didn't score any points in the second half to pad this lead or to stop the comeback. And that's a negative. That is a negative if you're supposed to be one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL and you just signed a big old extension. You got receivers. You got damn good running backs. What is the problem here? So this is a question that starts to be made. Look, Tua and the Dolphins are going to do their thing. They're going to come close. They're not going to get to a Super Bowl. They're going to come close and what have you. But there's too many combustible elements on that team for them to eventually get to a Super Bowl this season.
It just depends on health. It doesn't help that Mostert and a chain are both hurt. That doesn't help. Right. But I'm not going to write them off. I'm literally just because you still had Tyreek Hill with 130 and a touchdown. You had Waddle with 109, a chain with 76 through the air and 24 on the ground. Like they're offensively very dangerous. And you shut out the Jacksonville Jaguars the rest of the game after the half. So I'm not saying that this team can't make noise. I'm saying you have some serious competition within your division. We already mentioned the Chiefs look good. The Ravens look good. They need to fix some things, but they look good. Somehow the Pittsburgh Steelers made it work with Justin Fields.
I can't even.
So there's that. What we mentioned, the 2 in your division. If Aaron Rodgers does wake up, that's already 6 teams that you're hardcore contending with. Yeah. And we haven't even really talked about any of the other ones that could come in and surprise you. So you just need to tighten up. You got to tighten up and tighten up fast because you don't want to just make the playoffs. Yeah. You don't want to just win your division. The aim is to get the highest seed possible. The aim is to go the distance. So just use this as we know where we're at. Now make adjustments and start busting people's skulls.
Yeah. But we do want to ask one question. Looking at speaking of looks, we got to take a look. Okay, this is Mike when he got the job. This is Mike now. What's going on here, Winston? Is this the Miami effect? Is he running?
Why he looks so Cuban right there,
brother? Is he running kilos out of my? I need to know what's going on with Mike McDaniel.
Bro, I really need. Maybe we need to do a web series, Rocha, of like me on my summer vacation of all the NFL players, and it's just what you've been doing and like how you came back. Because CD out here jacked, Travis Kelce out here looking like he became a sheriff. Like you got Mike over here who's running drugs from Cuba. Like, bro, everybody just got a major makeover. Like, what did you do over the summer?
I don't know if I have to say his name, Mike McDaniel now. I don't know how I have to say his name, but like, because it's not Mike McDaniel anymore. It's more Miguel McDaniel. I think that's how I
Miguel McDaniel.
He calls it off in where?
What would be McDaniel in Spanish, bro? What's that?
You gotta make. There's no Irish in Spanish.
No, I got it. But do you have any sort of Mick? No Mick anything, right? So what's a Daniel? What's a Daniel in Spanish?
I know Daniel is what it is in Spanish. It is
Miguel Daniel. Miguel Daniel.
Miguel Daniel. Miguel Daniel. I like. I think I can do that. Oh no! Don't be messing with Miguel Daniel.
Bro, I need to go find that TikToker that does all the the team names, and he's like the Pittsburgh Steelers, and like it's like the dude running away with the. I gotta see how he says Mike McDaniel.
Oh no! You stole from Miguel Daniel? Oh no!
no! You are very not in trouble, my friend. I can help you. Like,
please leave.
Please leave.
He went from Scarface accountant to Scarface. Yeah, he looks. Yeah, he went from Scarface to accountant. 100%.
Oh my God.
Oh, so good, so good. So I'm glad we have some laughs because we got to get into some serious shit now, man. We got to talk about it. The Tyreek Hill situation. For those of you who may have been under a rock over the weekend, right outside the stadium before the Dolphins home game against the Jaguars that we just talked about, Tyreek Hill was handcuffed and placed face down on a street outside the team's stadium after he was stopped for speeding and reckless driving. And also Calais Campbell, who was one of the linemen on the Dolphins, stopped to try to assist Tyreek and find out what was going on. And he was arrested, or he was put in handcuffs rather, but both of the men were let go before the game and went and played the game. Stephanie, sorry, what's her name? The general. Sorry about that. I've got my notes all written out here. Stephanie Daniels. She is the person in charge of the investigation on the Miami-Dade Police Director Stephanie V. Daniels said she has launched an internal affairs investigation. They have since released the name of the police officer. It is Danny Torres, which for those of us who are MCU fans is kind of a weird name to hear, but he is the gentleman who was gentleman, I say that loosely, who was involved in the situation. And I'm going to play the video, Winston. I hope you're okay with this. I hope you all, but here's a fair warning. This is a rough video to watch. I will play the video. I will be moving through the video as we watch it, because of course I don't want to spend 3.5 minutes on the video, but we will be talking through it. But Winston, here is Officer Torres, one of the officers coming up to Tyreek Hill's car. He's putting the window down. Then Tyreek has an exchange with him. And we see the body cam footage here of what's going on. And he does. I don't think he has a seatbelt on. And then he puts the window back up. And this is where everything starts to escalate.
Keep your window down.
This is the initial officer.
Keep your window down.
And then another officer comes in.
Down, I'm going to get you out of the car. As a matter of fact, get out of the car. Give me that. Get out of the car. Give me that. Break that freaking window. Get out
See,
of the car.
he's immediately telling him he's going to break the fucking window.
We're not playing this game.
This is angry. These are very angry cops. And then he's yanked out by his neck,
What part of that do you understand?
thrown on the ground by both of these officers.
I'm getting arrested.
He's telling whoever's on the phone with that he's getting arrested.
Drew Rosenhaus.
Is it Drew Rosenhaus, his agent?
He said, Drew, I'm getting arrested.
Okay.
When we tell you to do something, you do it. You understand? You understand?
This is so beyond unnecessary. I get that Tyreek was maybe disrespectful by putting the window down. Maybe he's being a smartass. But I have seen numerous interactions with white people being super disrespectful to police officers. And I know it's state by state, sometimes even county by county. But look at this guy. This is a professional football player, successful professional football that you are yanking out of his very expensive car.
And you're directly outside of Hard Rock. You see all the fans going. It's clear that that he, like, especially in the car that he's in, and he never said that I am, that I'm
Tyreek Hill. Right, he did not trade in. Yeah.
But like, it's pretty obvious. And I'm pretty positive, knowing how people love the Dolphins, somebody out of those 4 officers knows who he is.
Right. And that is Torres, the one who is on the left there, as you're watching, who's yanking him down by the neck. Both of these gentlemen, I think, look, immediately other players try to stop to find out what's going on, and they're immediately threatened. Fingers are pointed. This is a strong situation that you see here.
And some of the things that we were missing, like just watching this right now, like at one point he's telling him to sit down, and he's like, I can't. So that officer you're talking about forced him down, and he goes, I just had surgery on my knee. Just had surgery. And so then the officer responds, did you have an operation on your fucking ears? Like, he is. Yeah. See, he just said it right now. They're just.
Yeah. Clearly, there is one officer who is much more aggressive than the other officer. Although this officer holding,
they all get bad. So that one that's talking to Khalil over there, he also gets really aggressive.
Yeah.
They all start to lose their mind here, and it's just.
And this is them. So this is them arresting Calais.
Right.
Who was coming over to find out what was going on.
Put your hands behind your back. You didn't listen.
I told you.
I told you to leave your car. You didn't want to listen.
I'm about to leave. I'm about to leave the car.
Right. They arrested him. They said because he was not following orders.
But like that's the thing, and that's what gets me when you there's so many layers here. The first, like, this is where people want to know what Colin Kaepernick was talking about, and people wanted to be like, Kaepernick, ain't nothing happened to you. You're a damn NFL quarterback. You will come from money, bitch. Like you just doing all the blah 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 blah. You being this and like, this is literally what he was talking about, and this doesn't even include the worst case scenarios where people are getting killed by these out of control cops.
Yes. We're not famous
because the funny thing is that cop is super lucky that move that they just did not just F up his recently surgically altered knee. Because guess what kind of lawsuit the city of Miami would have been facing from Tyreek, from the Dolphins, from the NFL, because you just took literally someone a receiver that was in like the top 5, if not the top 3, I think, in MVP voting
for years.
You're talking about one of the most talented people in the NFL. If you would effed up his knee and that had cost the season, let alone all the NFL stuff, that also screws everything as far as like the whole betting culture that is now intertwined with it. You have effed up an economy that's crazy, and that's on just a money tip. That's not even on a human tip. That's just on a money tip, what you would have done. But let's just genuinely go back to what we're talking about as far as this brutality that ended up happening. None of that was necessary. Thank God Odell Beckham Jr. walked up at one point. Other fans started doing that. Now, was Tyreek wrong in how he like originally talked to those cops? Yeah. You had some attitude. You know, they've all of them, Calais and Tyreek, said in interviews, we were taught growing up, hands on the wheel, just don't get shot, just make it out of the situation. So throwing that much attitude was not a good look, but it's clearly a situation where he was running late, and so he was doing all sorts of stuff. And he even said in an interview, I was not trying to have the window down too long because I didn't want a bunch of fans rushing up because they could see me and getting in the middle of this business. So all that being said, that does not mean that then you do this to somebody. And like you said, the number of white people we've seen on tape doing this kind of crap to cops. Don't get tased, don't get shot, don't get brutalized. Ma'am, please give me your license. Ma'am, please give me your license.
I'm a sovereign citizen. I'm a sovereign. This is not a vehicle. I'm a sovereign citizen. It's all that stupid nonsense. And they let them get away with it because they're both of the same political bent. But with black guys, especially rich black men, and listen, this cop was Latino. Let me tell you something, man. There is racism in the Latino community towards black people and vice versa. It happens. And seeing this guy, and we found out that Danny Torres is a member of a biker gang and all of this stuff. They put that all information up on him on Twitter. You see, this guy was hyped up. He was ready to go. And this is a 27-year vet of the police force who is still just a motorcycle cop. So there are questions to be asked there. We don't know what happened there, but like, why are you still doing this at this age? And why are you allowing your emotions to get the best of you if you're a veteran of the police force? That's the thing as well at the end of the day.
Well, I mean, I know you know this too, but one of the things that black people talk about with cops, the ones that are the scariest to black folk is the black, the Latin, and the women cops, because they feel like they have something to prove. Because that the culture that's bred within a lot of law enforcement is this idea of like, are you one of them or are you one of us? And so there's this idea where you see these black cops. Like there was a video that was going around recently of a cop in a black woman's face with a gun in her face, like not held in like a professional manner, held like this, talking about, you say one more thing to me, I will blow you away. On some straight crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? And so like, knowing that, it's one of those scenarios where I don't understand that people can believe the bullshit of they're out here eating cats and dogs in Springfield, Ohio, from meth heads. But when black people are literally saying the cops are brutalizing us. And it takes not just a pandemic where somebody is murdered after being pinned to the ground for 9 minutes. It also takes an NFL superstar having to like get dragged out of his car. And Tyreek even saying, I am so grateful that because Calais said this in an interview on First Take. He kept saying, please don't leave me. So like he got arrested to protect his teammate because obviously he's a huge dude, but he kept his hands up the whole time where they could be seen. He got to be like, I'm just trying to, that's my teammate. I'm trying to see what's going on. It's literally a black person's worst nightmare.
Yeah.
One of them. So like, I really wish that we lived in a world that when people try and tell you that they're being abused, brutalized, treated unfairly, treated like shit, that people would listen. But I'm also aware of the fact of the world that we live in.
Yeah. Yeah. And I want to say something that's, first of all, Stephen Ross is a massive Trump supporter, and he has a anti-racism charity, right? And Stephen, one of the former Miami Dolphins players called him out for the two-faced thing about racism. And look, this is what happens. And this is also why the situation is complex, because people will use this shit. Corporations who don't adhere to it will use this shit in order to promote themselves as anti-racist or supposedly in love with people of color and want to support people of color. I'm going to say that a former place I used to work at had an entire editorial team that was like 10 people. It was all white, but they were constantly talking about supporting people of color and even put a black square up on their social media. The hypocrisy of that was madness. And now you look at this situation. For people who don't know this, just a few days ago, Rael Antine, who was the Washington Commanders football team vice president, there was a scandal with him because there was a right-wing propagandist who recorded her dates with him because of James O'Keefe being connected, and O'Keefe, the media group, they put out these recordings where Antine said about the league's anti-racist efforts. He said it's performative. It's not done out of the goodness of their heart and reality. It's done because George Floyd changed the game. I mean that the social justice efforts are a performance for the sake of public perception and not because they want to actually push progress. And when it was asked about the liberal side of things, if this was done to make liberals feel better, Antine said, no, I think it's to make as much money as possible. I think the NFL cares about the bottom line like any corporation above all else, and they don't need to really pinch pennies because they make so much revenue. Therefore, they can full prioritize DEI for the sake of good publicity. And so the NFL, and he was promptly fired from the Commanders, even though now in retrospect, looking through the prism of this Tyreek Hill situation, this feels like he was telling the absolute truth of what's going on behind the scenes. And I bet there's plenty of people who work in these organizations and the NFL teams and work for the NFL who are people of color and women who know that the NFL is bullshitting us when they talk about stop the hate and end racism and we care about women and breast cancer awareness, that they're lying through their fucking teeth about it. And now I wonder how they're going to react to this situation, because the Commanders fired Antine quickly. What's going to happen here? What's Ross's comment going to be at all of this? Is he going to stand behind his player, or is he going to play the both sides bullshit in order to get away with it? And what's the NFL going to do in this investigation? That's a question too.
It's a great question, man. It really is a great question. And I hope for a day where this nonsense can stop. And but who knows? Who genuinely knows, man?
I know.
You've this isn't a show that we'd really talk politics like that, but like knowing that one wants to give cops full immunity for no matter what they do, and the other one is allowing Cop City to happen. That is my biggest concern with both candidates as far as that goes.
That's fair.
But what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I know. And you hope the NFL. I mean, Tyreek Hill and his lawyer and Drew Rosenhaus have all called for this policeman to be fired. He is on administrative leave and he's working desk duty now. My guess is this isn't the first time. And my guess is there's quite a lot in this gentleman's background possibly that will lead to more reactions to this whole situation. But I bet the NFL is going to do their damnedest to brush this under the rug and not have it be a big deal, even though over 80% of their workforce is young black men. And it's so frustrating to see this happen, and it won't change until black owners come in and take this or there are more owners of color in the NFL to push back on a lot of the approach from a lot of these owners who are Trump aligned and support the police no matter what.
Now, last thing that I will say that I think was actually probably the one highlight of it, because like mind you, I'm not the biggest Tyreek Hill fan because
No,
obviously you remember his DV stuff in the past.
Sure.
You know 100%. What I'm saying?
Good point.
However, the one thing that I think I got light out of this, he clearly took out his frustration on the Jaguars because that touchdown, that 80-yard touchdown catch, and then the celebration, bro, where he said, go ahead. And then Waddle started to walk him off with his hands behind it. I was dead. And what that is to me, that is what artists do. I know he's an athlete, but artists will take that situation and they'll make something out of it.
Yeah.
So like literally get out spawned, like Jordan Peele said this, get out spawned from like his biggest fear as a black man, having dated white women. He's married to a white woman, but having dated white women and having certain experiences. That's where that came from. The number of stand-up jokes you've seen where the same thing has happened. The number of songs. God, we were talking about Taylor Swift earlier. Taylor Swift has taken any of those emotional things that have happened in relationships and made them #1 bangers. That has made her a billionaire and have the kind of influence that when she gives endorsements for president, people go, yo, that may have just won the election. Like you know what I'm saying? So people take their pain and they turn it into something to not only send a message, but as a way to express what they were going through. So I got to give Tyreek Hill props for that, for coming up with that touchdown dance kind of at the last second. That was great. I thought that was absolutely hilarious.
Yeah. And look, I wonder if how many outspoken black players are going to come out in this situation, because you're right about that, because it's going to be curious, because I think you're 100% right. Tyreek Hill has a couple of domestic violence situations. He was accused of punching his girlfriend in college and got kicked off the Oklahoma State team. In 2019, prosecutors in suburban Kansas City declined to charge Hill after an alleged domestic violence incident involving his fiance and 3-year-old child. So he's not the perfect person in terms of that, but that doesn't mean he deserves to be abused in this way physically by the cops and be treated this way physically by the police who should know better. So
Roga, I have a heart out in 20 minutes.
You do? Shit. All right.
Yeah. But I will say this. I know we need to cover these other games. Are you aware of what just happened with Shannon Sharpe this morning?
No. What happened?
So
we might have to cut this show short. Sorry, guys. Go ahead. Yeah. What happened?
Shannon Sharpe accidentally went live while in this morning on his IG. So he may potentially lose his Disney job over on First Take, bro.
Oh, no. Beware.
Like he was getting it in and had at least 7,000 people listening to it. Like you can't see it. It's pointed down. It's like pointed on like a dresser. It's just but like you just hear people going, this has to be a joke. This has to be, bro.
Oh, okay. All right.
Nightclub Shay Shay. That's the real Club Shay Shay, bro. You remember? I know he apologized for what he obviously said to make it this time, but what he's been saying about her. Look here, Otto. I'm gonna tell you right now. Her leg open like Nundo. He clearly was doing it. Oh my God, bro.
I am so hyper aware of my phone all the time, making sure videos are turned off, making sure I'm out of social media apps because of this reason.
Rocha, when I tell you, you know me. I talk shit, period, about everybody. I talk shit about everybody. And I assume people talk shit about me. When I tell you every time I'm about to say something, I go.
Yes.
I said, bitch.
Apparently, R-Truth, WWE wrestler R-Truth, was commenting on the stream. Oh my God. I'm gonna have to check that out.
Oh my God.
Ooh, that was super uncomfortable.
Oh my God.
Please, someone needs to use that and make a song out of those sounds she was making. All right, so we do have only 20 minutes left, so let's get through these games real quick if we can, and maybe Winston, we just continue this on Spill the Tequila. We can find some more time later this week. We will see. All right, Barkley scored 3. Let's just go through these real quick. Barkley scored 3 touchdowns against the Eagles. They beat the Packers 34-29 here. And Jordan Love went out with injury near the end. This was in Brazil in the rain-soaked pitch right at the end there with 6 seconds left in the game. So what are you feeling coming out? Do the Eagles now look like a formidable challenge, these 49ers coming out of this game? And what about these Packers who almost were able to maybe pull out the victory here against these Packers? Is against the Eagles, do the Packers look for real to you?
The only thing that the Eagles look is good because of Barkley.
Yeah.
There's two things. One, this Brazil thing. I thought maybe that the NFL would have done something smart and let them go like a week or almost 2 weeks in advance to wrap up training camp or something to get ready. Nope, they got sent like a night before.
Yeah,
which is insane, especially considering that where the Eagles were coming from, the time zone difference, that flight, that's insane.
Yeah.
However, certain things looked straight up true. So like adding Saquon clearly was a genius move.
Yeah.
That makes the Eagles dangerous again. Jalen turned over the ball entirely too many times. And if he's going to keep doing this like last year, the same thing will happen. They'll keep winning games by the skin of their teeth, and eventually people are going to start getting to full form, and they're going to self-destruct. So if they do not figure that out, they are in trouble. And then the Packers, I feel bad. If it depends on how long Jordan Love is out, because Jordan Love actually looked really good. You had a touchdown overturned in the first drive. They look fantastic, and almost pulled it off, but you had an illegal tackle, in my opinion, off of that lineman. That lineman needs to be fined like crazy because you're holding on to his ankle and pulling.
Yep.
And could have permanently damaged him.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's my immediate takeaway. It's not even any Eagles hate. Good for them for winning. Saquon looks like an absolute monster. If he stays healthy, they are going to be a threat. But Jalen has to stop with those turnovers.
Oh, I agree 100%. Jalen is the problem. Jalen will keep that team from succeeding. Jalen's either going to lead them or keep them from succeeding with his erratic quarterback play. And just because they won this game doesn't mean the Eagles are back. And just because they needed every single one of those Saquon touchdowns and yards in order to win this game. So that's an interesting situation because you're relying on one guy that's become erratic over the last year and then one guy who is always injured. So this will be interesting to see what happens with the Eagles. But I think the Packers are effing for real. Sadly, he is going to be out, looks like 2 to 4 weeks. So who knows how Malik Willis will do filling in for the Packers. But if they can come out of that time frame 500, Jordan can take him to the promised land. I believe in Jordan Love big time, man. I think that kid will have a Super Bowl ring, at least one, before it's all over. All right, the Lions beat the Rams here in a pretty good game, a rematch from last year in the playoffs. David Montgomery had a 1-yard touchdown here in overtime to beat them 26-20. The Rams did not touch the ball in overtime at all. This was a huge march by the Lions all the way down the field in this one, but the Lions did lose the 2-touchdown lead in the third quarter, which made it, which is why this thing went to overtime. What do you think of this game? Stafford played well. I thought Goff played kind of well. Kupp had himself 14 catches for 110 yards. What are your thoughts on this game?
I think it's still silly that we're in the year 2024, the year of our Lord Dak Prescott, and we're not allowing both teams to touch the ball in overtime.
Yeah,
I think that is kind of absurd still to this day. Like if you were looking at basketball, I know that the flow of it runs completely differently, but it's not like, okay, we're going to do a jump ball and the first person to score wins. It's literally a situation of, okay, we're adding X amount of time onto the clock, go. And whatever the score is at the end of that, we determine what goes from there. I just think that that's crazy, especially considering how close this game was to the point that we had to go to overtime. Right. But shouts to Dan Campbell for looking, hey, yo, we didn't really play Montgomery that much, and he got fresh legs. Let's run it up their throats.
Yeah.
And seeing how tired that Rams O-line was, I think the real story here is you ended up in a situation where Puka Nacua is on IR, man.
Yeah.
He is literally taking the Cooper Kupp trajectory where he'd look to be the number one receiver, not just on the team, but potentially in the league, only to the following year now be out for an undisclosed amount of time. So,
yeah. Dan out here like, we're going to run David Montgomery with every play. Run David Montgomery. That's a Dan Campbell out here doing that shit. I love his Applebee's commercial. All right, let's move on I think, look, first of all, I think the Rams look like they haven't missed a beat. I think Stafford's going to be great. We'll see what happens with Nacua, but Stafford looks hungry, still ready to play this game. He is one of these older guys who can still do it. And the Lions, they don't need Goff. It seems like there's enough weapons now on that team where Goff just has to play that game manager thing, occasionally spike up and have a 350-yard game for them to get the victory. So, this is going to be a good NFC this year. It's going to be a lot of fun to see who comes out of it. I still think it's 49ers, but the Lions are going to challenge.
That's why I don't give the Niners that because to see the Lions do this, to see that the Rams no longer having Aaron Donald is able to hold on like this. I think that the Niners maybe have the edge, but not by any margin. Like it's it literally any given Sunday.
Yeah,
depending on who they're playing. So.
And the Packers gave them all they could handle in that game last year. So the Packers could, if once Jordan Love comes back, could be a force as well. So this is going to be a fun NFC this year for sure. All right, let's go to this one last main game here. Josh Allen threw for 2 touchdowns and ran for 2 others here to excite Bills Mafia with a victory 34-28 over the Cardinals. This was a huge comeback victory. They were down by 14 points against Arizona at home. I thought for sure they were just going to shit the bed, but no, Josh Allen, after looking like Josh Allen, the bad Josh Allen, reverted to the good Josh Allen, led the team to this victory overall. Buffalo had 352 yards of offense here in the game and took care of business. And I thought they looked good by the end if they didn't look good at the beginning. The Cardinals under Kyler Murray, I think, they're picking up their play from last year. They went 3-5, I think, last year when Kyler came back. They look strong. They look formidable. Not quite over the mountain yet, but certainly getting there. What did you think of these 2 teams in this game, brother man?
I mean, I think that I was surprised that Harrison was so not a factor. That was a little weird. But I thought
1
overall,
catch for 4 yards, bro.
Yeah, it was a little weird, to be honest with you. But I stick with what I said. I was like, I don't care what the Bills did in this. You decided to get Keon Coleman, who was good. He had a good game.
Sure.
He had a good game. You allowed the Chiefs to get Xavier Worthy. Nothing you do this year matters if you don't win the Super Bowl. I hate you. I hate
That's true.
you.
Keon Coleman had 4 catches for 51 yards. Not bad for a rookie, but yeah, you're right.
But you didn't have 2 catches and a rush for 2 touchdowns and over 50-something yards overall. I hate you. My God.
Yeah, but look, Arizona needs to go in the game book and figure things out because there's no reason Marvin Harrison should have 1 catch for 4 yards on only 3 targets. And he was wide open on a couple of those plays, and Kyler didn't even see him. So this could be an issue where your top receiver may be disgruntled by the middle of the season. So this is, or top rookie rather, may be disgruntled by the middle of the season. We will see. But yeah, the Bills are the Bills, man. They're either going to win it all or crash horribly in a spectacular way that is memorable. That's the Bills, man. I don't think much has changed. They lost Stephon, they lost Gabe Davis, but they still look formidable. And they also run by whatever Josh Allen does in the game. And so we will see going forward. All right, let's hit these quickly, Winston. We got like 10 minutes left here. Stephon Diggs, Joe Mixon combined to lead the Texans past the Colts 29-27. Your boy Dak Prescott, after signing a new 4-year contract, paying him $60 million a year to play football, led the Cowboys to a 33-17 romp over the Browns. Baker Mayfield, the Buccaneers, crushed my Commanders 37-20, although Jaden Daniels did look good. There's promise there. Caleb Williams did not look good. He had a rough start here, but got bailed out by the Bears defense, and they beat the Titans 24-17. Justin Fields stepped in for Russell Wilson, and Boswell hit 6 field goals for the Steelers to lead them past the Falcons 18-10 in that game. The Patriots upset the Bengals here and with Jared Mayo's debut as a coach. Got the victory 16-10. Derek Carr and the Saints crushed Bryce Young and the Panthers 47-10. Bryce Young is on super bust alert. Sam Darnold threw 2 touchdown passes. Remember him? And Van Ginkel scored on a one-handed INT as the Vikings topped the hapless Giants. Daniel Jones, give that money back to the New York Giants. J.K. Dobbins rushed for 135 yards and led the Chargers in Jim Harbaugh's debut back in the NFL as coach of the Chargers as they beat the Raiders 22-10. And Kenneth Walker, the third, sparked the Seahawks as they beat Denver 26-20 in Bo Nix's debut. So any of these games stand out? What do you want to say about any of these games, brother?
I'm gonna do a quick take on all of them. We can do this quick. Again, Texans, Colts. I think both of those teams are going to be scrapping the whole time for the division title, and they'll both make the playoffs. Dak, I'm not surprised. I'm mad at Jerry Jones because it was clear that he used this entire summer. It's very clear he used this entire summer to just build Cowboys hype, to talk about CD's contract and talk about Dak's contract, because he clearly loves both of them and was going to pay them regardless, because you probably could have gotten away with paying them less money, but you had to pay them more because you waited that long. So you clearly did it to do that. Deshaun Watson about to be up out of here. I think the funniest
can I add something to what you said?
Yeah.
Jerry Jones misunderstood the meaning of Brat Summer. He was a total brat in the way he handled this.
Yeah, he was. My favorite part about that dude by far is the fact that you gave Dak $1 million more of a guarantee over Deshaun Watson, and then you trounced him, which was
Yeah,
hilarious.
true.
Baker Mayfield, I'm really impressed by who he is, and I think the Browns really need to take a look at themselves. Matt Thomas, I hope you're watching this, because it clearly wasn't Baker. You have a toxic organization that gets either bad quarterbacks or ruins quarterbacks. That's just, it is what it is. That list of jerseys is getting longer and longer by the quarterback. Caleb Williams, it's his first game out. That's a lot of pressure being the first dude up there. Yeah, he looked good in the preseason. It's the preseason, and Hard Knocks will throw everybody for a loop. Fields, the fact that the Steelers won with no touchdown, kind of ridiculous. But good for you. And maybe, Fields isn't necessarily the truth, but I think that there's more to him than meets the eye.
Yeah.
Didn't mean to Transformers reference, but here we are. Shout out to Jared Mayo for doing that win on the debut. Not me actually rooting for the Patriots, Travis. I wanted the Bengals to win, but as this was happening, it's like, all right, Gerard Mayo, come on, baby. Okay. Derek Carr I'm sorry. The truth will come out. He will fall apart.
You think so?
The Panthers are trash. The Panthers have been trash. Your super running backs you got out of the league came in with a knee injury, can't even play for a while. So it is what it is. That's where all that came from. The car will fall apart. Just wait. I can't wait for the Rattler to be able to get in there and do what it really needs to be done. Sam Darnold, I mean, look, the Vikings were already a good team. The Giants were already a bad team and got worse. Like, yes, you got Neighbors, and Neighbors is a beast, but you saw what Saquon still had in the tank, and you didn't want to pay him. Also, watch that Hard Knocks. They messed up on that one.
Oh, yeah, that was a great episode. Oh, my God.
They messed up bad. J.K. Dobbins, great job. The Raiders, there's a reason why Devontae Adams is a little pissed and kind of wants out. And then the Seahawks in Denver. My real question here, was Sean Payton kind of a Bill Belichick moment where he had his perfect player in a perfect moment that allowed him to be dominant this whole time?
Yeah.
And is maybe that was you're trying to catch lightning in a bottle. I mean, it's early, but that didn't look great. Like, Seattle kind of handled them.
Yeah. Geno Smith in Seattle handled them big time. Yeah, and the Arthur Smith Bowl there with the Steelers and the Falcons was abhorrent to watch. But like, I don't put much stock in the Patriots winning, because the Bengals always do this. 0-2. They're 1-6 in season openers over the last 7 years. So there's no surprise that they lost. They'll pick it back up again. I think that's good stuff. All right, so let me hit the Streamlab here. We got two of them real quick. Sean Brennan said, hi, Winston and Rocha. With the lackluster performances of the rookie quarterbacks this week, do you still think one of them will win Rookie of the Year, or could someone else, like, I don't know, Xavier Worthy, take it from them? Love you guys. Hashtag 3P comment. Xavier's in play. I think after this weekend, Xavier's in play. None of those quarterbacks are in play. Who do you think is the Rookie of the Year pole position right now after the first week, man?
After the first week, Xavier Worthy.
Yeah.
I just
say his name.
Yeah.
You gotta say it. Mike Choice says, is Caleb Williams good? He had a rough week one. The same people in Chicago sports media hyped him up in the same way they hyped up Justin Fields. Did I make a mistake drafting Caleb?
Was he your number one quarterback?
God, I hope not. Mike, you're a moron if you took a rookie quarterback like Caleb as your number one. No, I don't mean that to hurt your feelings. I mean, like, what were you thinking?
No. I mean, like, not number one over. What did he say? Number one overall pick, or just his QB1?
His QB1. I think he said it's his QB1.
It depends on the other part of it too. Is how many people in your league? When were you waiting? Those are all the questions. Like, if you were this idiot that's in my team, oh my God. Quick story, because I know we gotta get these Streamlabs.
I know.
I was in one of the drafts, and this woman was number 12. She was snaking around 12, and then had pick number 13. Her very first pick, sir, Mark fucking Andrews. Mark Andrews was her very first pick. Her second pick was Lamar Jackson. And then this past weekend, we are sitting here. The Thursday game happens, right? And she's messages the group, y'all, I'm having trouble. It's not letting me put Deshaun Watson in for the game today. We're like, you played Lamar Jackson on Thursday. She goes, yeah, but he played on Thursday. Today's Sunday. I was about to throw my phone out the window, Rocha. I was so mad. And all I know is I was being too nice because I started talking back a little bit, but eventually me and all the other, because it's an all black league. It's all these black dodgeball players. We straight up go, hey, yo, Google is free. All right. How the hell you going to get into a fantasy football thing? And then I just went and I Googled, I said, see, look, and I sent something from Yahoo Sports that said, how to play fantasy football for beginners. Okay, back to
she's one of these ladies that bowls the ball really slow and gets a strike. So watch out. She might actually get in the playoffs. You just never know. You never know. She might figure it out and get in the playoffs, brother. All right, those are the two Streamlabs. I think that's everything. Is there anything else you wanted to touch on before we go? Do you want to hit the? I mean, we don't have time, I don't think, for the Deshaun Watson situation. Justin, quickly. There's new accusations. It's pretty brutal. Another woman claiming that he came to her house, her apartment, essentially forcibly disrobed her and sexually assaulted her for a few minutes before she was able to get away, and screamed at him to leave, which he eventually did. His lawyer, Rusty Hardin, came out and said, none of this is true. We're going to get to the bottom of this and defend him. But this is yet another accusation on Deshaun Watson. Brother, you got to get him out of this league. And he's playing like crap for the Browns. Just take the dead money and get him out of the league, for God's sake. Don't you think?
You just look, man. I think the thing that I saw above all else, bro, I hope you enjoy that money you got. You're never getting another contract unless you immediately turn it around and start playing like you did in Houston. And I don't even think you should be playing at all personally. But unless you do that, you're going to be bad at football and a bad person. The NFL only protects people who are bad people and good at football.
Yeah, it's true.
This will be it for you. So I hope you enjoed the ride, you sick.
Right. Yeah. Read the details.
Not Jameis Winston grab him by the ass, about to become the starter in Cleveland. Jesus Christ.
I know, right? Wouldn't that be crazy? Jesus. But here's the deal. If they do cut him, he would be $172 million in dead cap hits if they cut him in 2025, and then $99 million if they cut him in 2026.
But if they had that contract loophole.
Yep. Both of them. Oh, yeah, right. Can they do something in the contract? Is there something in that contract? The NFL is investigating this, and they may want, and the Browns may be like, will you fucking help us out here?
Paragraph 43 specifically says, because I saw this, it's kind of why I had mentioned the story to you the other day.
Yeah.
It has a clause in there that if any other allegations come up, if he either has something else happen or that he did not disclose everything, they actually can void his contract and they do not need to pay the guaranteed money. So
nothing would make me happier.
Nothing would make so many people happier that he could literally lose the rest of that money.
Yeah. But ironically, he'll open a massage parlor place. I bet you I put money on it.
Oh my God.
That sack of shit. All right, Aaron, let's get out of here on that one. All right, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We appreciate it madly. Winston, we might figure out how to spill the tequila to finish up our conversations that we had on the rundown this week. We'll see if timing works for us. We will look for the updates from that as well. Thank you, brother. Another great one. This was a fun show. Love to have you back, man. Love that it's back. Please let people know where they can find you and subscribe to your stuff, brother.
You can find me at the Swaggy Blurred on all the platforms, especially here on YouTube. I put my Blurred breakdown out yesterday where I covered everything from Kendrick Lamar getting the halftime show, more of the Tyreek Hill stuff, Beyonce getting snubbed from the CMAs, which is absolutely insane. Lots of good stuff on that episode. As we were doing the show, the clipped out version of it is there. So if you don't want to watch the full hour-long episode, you can pick the story you like and watch through that. Please go subscribe, comment, all that. And then today, we are doing as we mentioned, Blurs in the Hood is not a regular thing anymore, but we do have a special State of the Union happening due to the debate, which was so myself and Jay are going to do a full breakdown of that at 3:00 today, but I got to go see if I can find a new place to live. There's a long story, but much love to all of you. I will see you later.
Thank you, Winston. Much love to you. For me, at the Rocha Says, Twitter, Instagram. Subscribe to the channel, and we'll talk to you next time with another brand new episode of Game Time. Peace. Oh, shit. I kept playing it.